Hey Estee, welcome to Spa Boss Talks, the go-to podcast for estheticians ready to elevate their game in the world of beauty and business. I'm your host, Nichole Lancaster, a six-figure solo esthetician and former spa manager with a passion for helping you turn your aesthetic skills into a thriving business. Whether you're just starting your journey in the beauty industry or you're a seasoned pro looking to take your spa business to the next level, you're in the right place. I've walked the path from the treatment room to managing a 6 to 7 figure spa, and now I'm here to share the lessons, challenges, and triumphs with you. Together, we'll dive deep into the business side of aesthetics, from mastering marketing techniques to building lasting client relationships and everything in between. So get ready for candid conversations, expert interviews, and actionable advice that you can implement right away. Spa Boss Talks is not just a podcast, it's your go-to resource for becoming the spa boss you were meant to be. So whether you're tuning in during your commute, while treating clients, or winding down at the end of the day, get ready to be inspired, informed, and empowered, because this is Spa Boss Talks, and I'm Nichole Lancaster, your guide to success in the world of aesthetics and business. Hello, my esthetician friends. Welcome back to Spa Boss Talks. I am your host, Nichole Lancaster. I'm so excited for today's episode. It is going to be very vulnerable of me, but I'm going to share my story. I'm going to share how I got into the beauty industry. I'm going to share to you a little bit about myself. So it's going to be very personal, this episode. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Nichole Lancaster. I'm a licensed esthetician for the past 12 years. I have been a business mentor for the past few years, and I've just recently opened up Beauty Babe Business Academy, where I can help more estheticians at a time. I have been in the beauty industry for about 20 years now, and it's the best industry you could absolutely ever be a part of. I was born and raised right here in Tampa, and I'm still here with most of my family, which is amazing. Most of my family is still in the area. So I am so happy to be here. I'm so happy to share my story. So just a little bit about me. I grew up here in Tampa, and I grew up with nothing. I don't want to say nothing because I don't want to devalue the work of my parents. They're going to kill me. But I grew up poor. My dad had to quit school when he was 15 years old. He became the man of the house. His father had tuberculosis and was in the hospital for like a year or two. My mom was a medical assistant and then went into electronic medical records and training on that. But academics was never something that they really pushed. They really pushed learning what I loved and figuring out what I loved and going for that. So since an early age, I knew I wanted to be in the beauty industry. I remember in 8th grade, you could choose between college prep, which meant you had to take like all these classes for college, or tech prep. And I was like, well, why do I need to take a bunch of college classes if I'm going to be a makeup artist? So that was always my dream. That was always my goal, was to be a makeup artist. So in high school, I started taking makeup classes. My high school was really great. It actually offered special effects makeup classes. So I did 2 years of special effects makeup classes. And then on the weekends, I would freelance and do makeup for my friends, for my mom, for my family. I would go and get my makeup done at Saks Fifth Avenue, at the Max at Saks Fifth Avenue. There used to be one here in Tampa. And I'm still friends actually with my makeup artist from there to this day. And she would do my makeup and she would teach me how to do my makeup. And I would go home and I would practice on myself, and I would get the cutest, latest little colors that they had at MAC, because I was a dance teacher, so I had some money to spend. And I would practice on myself, and then I would go and do some freelance makeup work. So right after high school, I actually moved to Orlando, which was great for me because it wasn't a huge leap for my family. And I'm kind of an extroverted introvert. So it was really great because on the weekends I could come home. But I moved to Orlando to go to special effects makeup school. They used to have a really great one there. I'm not sure if they still do. And I didn't get approved for the loan. So it was pretty expensive. I didn't have the money. I didn't get approved for the loan. And I was just like, well, like, this is what I want to do. What's going on? Why is it not working? But it didn't. So I stayed there for about a year, worked at a music store, which was amazing because I learned sales, which was really cool, and moved back home. So once I moved back home, I was looking for a job and I couldn't really find much anywhere. And I saw this online posting for Estee Lauder. Now, for those of you that don't know, Estee Lauder is a $56 billion beauty brand. They pretty much own every beauty brand on the planet. Well, a lot of them. So they do MAC, they own Clinique, they own Origins, they own Bum Bum Bumble, they own Tom Ford. Like they own so many different cosmetic brands. And that's why they're such a huge brand. And shout out to Estee Lauder because she started her brand in her uncle's basements in New York, which is such an incredible, incredible story to grow from that to $56 billion. It's just wild and amazing. But I saw this ad for it and I was like, well, I could go work at the mall and I could go work for Estee Lauder. And, maybe once I have a little bit of experience, I can go work at the MAC counter because that's where all the cool kids are. All the cool kids are at MAC. Back in the day, we didn't have Sephora. Back in the day, we didn't have Ulta. It was MAC. MAC was like the cool, cool cosmetic line. So I went to work with Estee Lauder. And it was one of the best experiences of my entire life. I met such amazing women who were brilliant. They were brilliant in sales. They were brilliant with clients. They were brilliant with their customer service. They were brilliant. So I had never gone to college. I signed up a couple times, but I never actually, like once the enrollment came, something always happened where it didn't work out. I even went to like one time thinking I was going to go for nursing, and something just always happened where it didn't work out. So I worked for Estee Lauder and I had these really amazing mentors. And the great thing about this is that it really set the foundation of my business knowledge. So we would have sales. And we would have sales that happened a couple of times a year. And I'm sure if anyone's ever gone shopping in the cosmetic departments, you know that they have free gifts with purchases. So we would do these free gifts with purchase, and we would have goals that were like $45,000, $50,000 for one day. So us as beauty advisors had to learn how to get clients. We had to learn how to clientele. We had to learn that like when gifts came, our clients thought of us. Our clients bought with us because we had sales goals individually as well. So we wanted to hit those. So we wanted our clients to think of us. We wanted to be a part of their life. We wanted them to know whenever they came into our space, we knew exactly what type of makeup they wore. We knew exactly what they were looking for. Like we were their personal shoppers. So it really, really taught how to make that connection with your clients. And I was so lucky that I was able to then carry that over into my aesthetic school. But so we would have these really huge events and we would have these really, really big goals and we would pre-sell and we would sell them products today and pre-sell the products for the event because we didn't want our sales numbers to be down. And it just taught me so, so much. And I had a really great, amazing mentor and boss that worked there. Her name is Nichole. She really pushed me and encouraged me. And I had some executives who were really amazing. And actually, Amanda Izell is still one of my business coaches and mentor today. And she'll be on the podcast definitely. She's in some of our programs offering some of her advice. But I had some really, really amazing mentors that pushed me. So they came to me one day and they were like, hey, how would you feel about being a business manager for your own counter? And I was in my early 20s and I was ecstatic. I think I was like 20, 21, something like that. It was, they wanted to transfer me to Dillard's inside of International Plaza, which, if you're not from Tampa, it is definitely our bougie mall. So here I would be going as a manager, a young girl in her early 20s, going to be in this bougie mall. And I was like, yes, absolutely, 1,000,000% sign me up. So I walk in to Estee Lauder, and it's this huge counter right by the elevators. And I was actually pretty terrified. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that they trusted me and knew that they could help me and mentor me to become something great. But I was scared. Most people, whenever you are young and successful and in a leadership role, most people tend to be older than you. So sometimes there's that little bit of power struggle where they're like, well, I've been in this industry longer than you. I've worked with this company longer than you. I have more experience than you. You can't really tell me what to do. You can't really give me that much advice. But clearly there was something that was in me that the executives knew could be successful and could help this team be successful. So I became a business manager for Estee Lauder inside of Dillard's at International Plaza, and it was an amazing job. I got to meet with mentors. I got to learn about the psychology of selling. I got to learn how this multi-billion-dollar company operated. Now, one thing about Estee Lauder is that during 2008, during the recession, they invested more money back into education versus a lot of beauty brands took money out. So we were really learning a lot about marketing, a lot about personal branding, a lot about how to have those big sales and make those big sales goals and bring in a lot of money to the business. And other brands weren't getting that. And we were really getting that because Estee Lauder as a company knew that if they could invest in people to sell for them, they would make more money. And that's kind of the same mindset I pass on now to my clientele. You got to think of your clientele as like little extensions of you and your business. And the more you can educate them about what you do, and the more that you can get them super excited about your services and your business for you, the more they're going to sell you to their friends and family and have people coming in. So that's just one of the little mindsets, one of the little nuggets of wisdom that I took with me from Estee Lauder. So they knew exactly what they were doing and it worked. They had an increase in revenue. And I believe most of the cosmetic companies did not that year. So that was just brilliant of them. So I'm working with these people, and it's really the first time that I'm face to face with an older clientele. My clients had always been like with makeup were younger because I was doing like my friends, I was doing some of my family, but I was seeing women at Estee Lauder that were in their 60s and 70s, and they had a lot of sun damage and they were trying to cover it with makeup. Um, and it really wasn't like a thing where you wore sunscreen every day on your face back then. So they had a lot of sun damage. So I was touching these women's faces and I was doing makeup, and I really wanted to take it a step further. I really wanted to be an esthetician, and I struggled with acne when I was a teenager. So that was kind of something always in the back of my head. Like, what if I could do skin and help other people? So I was working for Estee Lauder, and I took the leap of faith and I took a bold move, and I decided to become an esthetician. So I started doing freelance makeup for Estee Lauder while I was an esthetician. Now I went to a medical aesthetics program. Now estheticians don't come for me because there is always discussion about there's no such thing as a medical esthetician. Uh, in the state of Florida, there is not a medical esthetician license. However, the school I went to, their program was medical aesthetics, and it was a private school that did like nursing and doctors and doctor assistants and medical assistants and PAs and emergency medicine. Like there was so much that they did. And somehow they got a medical esthetician program in there too. So it was definitely a medical college that offered a medical esthetician program. It was full time. I can't remember if it was 1,200 or 1,400 hours, but it was 1 year full time, Monday through Friday. We were in school and we were learning everything, anatomy and physiology of the skin, you know, the structure of the skin, the disorders and diseases of the skin, um, the difference, like acne of the skin, the different grades of acne, the different, Fitzpatrick types and scales. And I mean, it was very in depth. I actually pulled out my binder the other day and I had drawn different bacterias and viruses. And we even had tests on that we had to like identify. I remember we had to know all the muscles in the face and the different lymph nodes and how to massage it. Like it was a very, very in-depth, intense course, which I was so grateful for. Ingredients, we learned the ingredients and what they did and the chemistry behind them. So it was a really amazing course. So I did that for about a year. And then my very first job, excuse me, let me also say that I was dual enrolled to get my laser license as well. So at night, I did my laser license classes, and during the day, I did my medical aesthetic classes. And my first job out of school was at a med spa, which was fun. It was great. It was actually a really slow spa, and I had all this knowledge from Estee Lauder on how to get clients, how to build clientele. When you work for cosmetics inside of a department store and for a big company like Estee Lauder, they teach you not to just stand there and like hand someone a card. They make you go into different departments at different times and hand out cards and invite people back to the counter and bring them back if they want to. So they really teach you how to get clients there. So here I am in the spa, and it was kind of slow, and I was working on, the lasers, learning some of the lasers in the spa. And I was learning how to do hydrofacials because back in the day, you didn't learn hydrofacials in class. You didn't even learn dermaplaning. We actually learned how to dermaplane by shaving our leg with a scalpel. You couldn't do that back then. There was no micro needling. There were no lash lifts. So I'm kind of jealous of the estheticians that came after us because you guys got all that in school. But so I'm at this spa. It's kind of slow. I was trying to help build the clientele, but it really wasn't just, building as we were. And I believe it was kind of a location thing. So I ended up at another medical spa, and I had worked my way up to lead esthetician and then as manager. Now, because I had all this sales experience and because of the way that I wrote my resume, people wanted me to work for them. And this is something very important. If you've watched my TikTok on how to do your resume, people are having an extremely hard time getting hired right now. One thing you need to keep in mind is if you are applying at a spa, this is a small business. They want to know how you can make them money. So if you just list all your services on there, you're probably the 200th person who has applied that can do the exact same services. They want to know how you can make the money. So if you list your services and then say your client retention rate is 99%, or your average retail sales for the month is 800, or you were one of the highest retail sales for your spa, for the month of January, whatever it is. Even if you haven't worked in a spa, you're an esthetician, you're brand new, you haven't. Think of some moments that you've been celebrated in your current job, and think of maybe some moments that you've been celebrated in previous jobs, whether it's sales, something like that you can put on your resume, because they want to know how you can make the money. So the more that you're able to put those credentials on there, that you can show them that you can help them make money, it's going to be better for you. So I was working at another med spa and I became the lead esthetician. And I went to them one day because they had a manager opening. And I was like, look, these are my sales here. This is my retention rate here. I can help you bring in more clients. I can help make more money. I would love to get the position of manager. If you need me to hop in and help, I can hop in and help as well. But I really want to be the manager for the spa. So they agreed. They made me the manager. They raised my pay. I was there for a few years and I just felt like it was time for a change. So I ended up applying at another med spa, and I ended up helping to grow that med spa as well. I then went from there to a day spa, and these spas ended up grossing 6 to 7 figures. So I was really helping to build this business for these people. And again, it was using all of my knowledge that I had learned in my business knowledge from Estee Lauder, a multi-billion-dollar company. And I was in my early 20s and people wanted me because I could help grow their business. So again, it's very important if you're looking for a job, how can you help them grow their business? Put on your resume. So I ended up going in about 2015 to a friend's day spa and I was managing that and I got pregnant. And I was a single mom. It was 2015 and I knew that I couldn't spend every day in somebody else's business. I knew that if I was making these people lots of money, I could do it for myself as well. So beginning of 2016, February, I ended up opening up my own space. This was a very big learning moment for me in my aesthetic career because I didn't really think about location. I didn't really have money to open my own space. I had a friend who owned a hair salon and was like, look, you can come in, we'll give you commission until you hit this amount, and then you can pay rent. I didn't have much. She had the bed. I think it was her bed. I can't remember, but I definitely know it was a borrowed bed. I can't remember if I borrowed it from her or from somebody else. I didn't have products. I had the little sample size that I had gotten from one of the classes that I took, and that was my back bar. And I had a steamer and a hot towel caddy. That was it. So I would just, as I grew, I just added more and more and reinvested into myself. But it was very important to start small. A lot of people start big. And if you listen to our last episode with Agata, the aesthetic bookkeeper, she talks about this, about how she's seen a lot of estheticians who have been successful and unsuccessful. Start small, start as you can and start small. And that's exactly what I did. And I would just grow. The more I had money, then I bought a microdermabrasion machine. And then I just reinvested into new services. So then I started offering lash lifts. So there were different things that I did. This spa was not ideal for me. And let me tell you why. There's a couple reasons. First off, the aesthetic was not my aesthetic. It wasn't in a good location, which we now know location is a big part. If your clients are running in and out of your space, holding on to their purse or scared to leave the car at night, it's probably not the best location. And you might lose clients or you may not be able to get clients because it'll be a reflection of you and your services. You might be able to do amazing services and you might be an amazing esthetician, but if your spot looks like you should only be charging $30 for a facial, and again, it's not safe, your clients are scared, it looks run down, then they're probably not going to want to pay $150 for a facial. So you want to make sure that your space is always a reflection of you and your services and your value and your pricing. So it wasn't a reflection of my aesthetics. It wasn't a reflection of my pricing. It also was with hairdressers, and hairdressers are a totally different breed than us. They're loud, they're fun, they're energetic, they're laughing, their hair blow dryers are going, where we're like calm and cool and collected and quiet. So sometimes that's hard too when you're in a $150, $200 facial and people are cracking up outside, it just really, it wasn't ideal. So I ended up moving my space to a nicer part of town, and I really was able to grow my business. There was a time there too where I wasn't seeing the business that I wanted to, and I was talking to my financial advisor, and I wasn't seeing the clients that I wanted to see. I wasn't growing enough, and she had asked me about maybe switching and going to work for someone just for a little bit to be able to like build my clientele, to be able to build money. Let me just say this too. The first year in business, I only did $15,000, 1 5. So here I am as a single mom, living at home with my mom, which thank God I had the privilege to because most people don't. But I only made $15,000. I had made people 6 and 7 figures, but I was not focused enough. I did not apply any of my business strategies to my own business, and I made $15,000. And that was crushing because I wasn't even tracking my sales, just money came in, I spent it. And when I actually pulled my numbers at the end of the year, I was like, oh my God, this is nothing. I made nothing. So I ended up changing locations. I ended up building my clientele, building my business. I ended up doing lashes full time, which wasn't my specialty. My specialty was advanced skincare because I had experience with lasers. I had experience in med spas. I had experience with stacking modalities to get the best results for your client's skin. I had all this experience. Um, and then I became a lash girl because here in Tampa, lashes were booming. And I was like, okay, let me go to lash school. Let me do some lashes. And I just got really good at it. Where you spend your time and your energy is what grows. And I had already known advanced skincare. I knew, again, the anatomy of the skin, the physiology of the skin. I knew how to make changes in my client's skin, but I had started to invest time and energy learning a new skill set. So that's kind of what grew. So I became a lash artist. Most of my money came in from lashes, but I wasn't fast. I wasn't a fast artist. I wasn't able to book as many people as I'd want to. I wanted to make more money. And I had a conversation with my financial advisor, and they had said that. They had said, well, have you ever thought about maybe just pivoting for a little bit, working for someone, growing your clientele a little bit more, and then going back to opening your own spot? And that's what I did. So that's what I did. I ended up working at a busy lash salon in South Tampa, and I was able to get my speed up. I was able to work back to back. I was one of the ones who had some of the better technique and some of the better retention. So I was able to really build my clientele. After COVID hit, I realized that I needed to open my own space. And I remember laying in bed and talking to my ex, and I was like, I'm going to open my own space. I needed to have the flexibility in my schedule. I needed that whenever I needed to be home with my baby, if she was sick or if I was sick or if there was a COVID scare, and this is still when COVID was very scary, I knew that I needed to have my own flexibility, my own space. I just needed it. And he looks at me and he goes, well, how are you going to pay for it? Ew, that's why he's my ex. Um, Not the other reason. And I was like, I don't know, but I'm going to. And that's, if you know me, you know that I'm always like, I don't know, we'll figure it out. And that's exactly what we did. So we found this amazing space. I built out the floors. I had applied for some COVID relief money, which I like to pride myself on being bougie on a budget. I can find things places when I need to. So I ended up finding some COVID money, some COVID loans that they had going on, some COVID money that they had going. And I was able to build out my spa. I was able to get tenants to rent. So now I had this space for myself and for my daughter and for my clients. And I was able to rent it out with tenants. So my first year here, I hit 6 figures. So I had started my own venture back in 2016. My first year here was 2021, and I hit 6 figures. So it is completely possible. There was nothing special about me. Again, I grew up poor. My parents do very well now, but back then they didn't. It was me learning. It was me bootstrapping. It was me understanding how to build a business. It was me applying everything I learned from Estee Lauder. When I first started working for med spas, we didn't have social media to do marketing. The only thing there really was YouTube. So we had to like crack the code to YouTube and figure out how to get our clients to find us on YouTube. I actually had a skin client who followed me for years, who had found me on YouTube. I had wheeled a microdermabrasion machine up to a mirror and just started doing microdermabrasion on my face, and she found me. It was amazing. So there really wasn't much knowledge as far as owning my own business. I understood the sales and I understood the business side, but I didn't understand like how to start it, what type of licensing I needed. I didn't understand some of the new socials. I didn't understand how to build my own website because I didn't have money to invest in somebody to build a website for me. I didn't understand how to register my LLC. Like I didn't understand any of that. And all of it I had to learn, and some of it I had to learn the hard way. And that's why I'm so excited to be able to offer mentorship, because you don't have to have thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to start your own business or start your own solo esthetician venture. You just have to start. You can start small. Again, you don't have to invest $3,000 into a back bar. You can be like me and just use samples on your clients until you can afford more. I used to buy the kits too, like they would have holiday kits or travel kits, and I would buy that, and that was my back bar as well. Like you just have to figure it out as you go. Um, One of the most important things to do if you are starting your own business is have your own business account, because a lot of us start off and use our personal account and it all goes in the same place and all gets spent from the same place. And it's a big hot mess when you then go to do taxes because you have so many ways to write off and save money, but it's really hard to do that when nothing is tracked properly. So, yeah, I was able to build my business. I have a beautiful space now. I opened a skincare brand to build on to my personal branding. And I have opened up this mentorship program so that I can help more estheticians. I had a lot of people asking me to be their mentor. I have a lot of people texting me and calling me and asking for advice because they knew that I had taken something from $15,000 to $100,000, and that I had helped a lot of people in other businesses make 6 to 7 figures. And so they were always asking me for mentorship, but because I was always so booked with my clients, I didn't have time to help. So I have opened up my schedule so that I can really focus and invest my time and energy into estheticians and helping you be successful. One of the things that really lights me up in life is helping other women succeed in business. And if you're a man listening to this and you're an esthetician, I'd love to help you as well. But it really lights me up to be able to help beauty pros, beauty professionals, anyone in our industry, because it's such an amazing industry. And a lot of times we're just thought of as like those stupid beauty people. I've had clients kind of treat me as like their lash girl, and I'm like, babe, I'm a six-figure businesswoman. Like, put some respect on that name. Like you don't clearly understand, like I'm a professional. And we've all had those instances with our clients, right? We all have our little client horror stories at times. But we're smart, we're brilliant, we are resourceful, we're scrappy. I mean, we figure it out because we have to. So that's one of the things about starting your own solo business, is that you really just have to figure it out along the way. And I have had to figure it out a few times, and I've gone through a lot of really great successes, and I've gone through some failures that I've definitely learned from. But that is why, again, I opened up my mentorship program so that I can help you step by step out of the way on your journey, so that you don't have to go through the same failures that I did. I mean, you're obviously going to have your own failures because as a small business owner, we all have our own failures, but you're not going to have to go through the same ones that I did, because I'm going to be able to help you avoid those, help you be able to get out of those so that you aren't, having the same experiences I have. Hopefully it'll be an easier journey for you. We also offer a once a year program that, we offer a program that we launch a couple times a year that is specifically aimed towards teaching estheticians how to go solo. So how to register your LLC, what to look for when you're renting a space and negotiating your lease, what you can negotiate, how to do marketing, the psychology of selling, how to build your client books, how to get clients in the door. We go through A to B. I show you how to do your own website design. I show you what software I use for for graphic designs, that you don't have to pay somebody thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to do all this for you. You can absolutely do this all on your own. So that is something that we launch a few times a year. And then we have a couple other launches, like our 20K holiday, where I show you how to make at least $20,000 during your last quarter of business. And we do our 5-figure spa event, where I teach you how to have your most successful spa events that you have ever had. So we are definitely a resource for estheticians. We are here to help you be successful. Any questions you have in business, any questions you have about your own business, I and my team would absolutely love to help you. You can email me at beautybabesonline@gmail.com. You can slide into my DMs on social. It's at SD Nichole. I would absolutely love to help you. So whatever questions you have, shoot me a DM, shoot me a message. I want to see you be successful, and I would love to help you do that. Thank you again so much for being with me today. Thank you for letting me share my story with you, and I will see you soon. Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Spa Boss Talks. I hope you found valuable insights that will launch your aesthetic business to new heights. Remember, your success is our mission. If you enjoyed today's episode, please remember to like, subscribe, and share our show. We want to help as many estheticians as we can become successful business owners. Plus, sharing our show is a great way to support our small business. Before we part ways, remember you're not just an esthetician, you're a spa boss in the making. Until next time, stay inspired, stay confident, and keep conquering the world of aesthetics. This is Nichole Lancaster signing off from Spa Boss Talks.